Hi guys, Shannon Davis from Image Property. Just wanted to bring you the latest from the COVID emergency response as far as the Tenancy Act goes and our understanding of the law that should be passed today. It was debated for 3 hours in Parliament on Wednesday night and should be taken to the Governor's House today and be passed into law. So immediately it's a much more balanced act right now, and we can work with this going through. The last one was just terrible beyond words, but this is a much better thing that we can actually help protect your interests going forward. So how are you COVID affected in this place that you need a rent reduction or a variation of your lease agreement? Well, firstly, you've got to actually have the COVID or been asked to stay at home and self-isolate, or your workplace has been shut, and like a gym or a cafe or a restaurant. Then after that, we've got to prove that the income has reduced by 25% or that your rent now is over 30% of your incomes. And it's not just individually. If you live with someone, it gets judged on the household, not just yourself. So that's how you qualify as being COVID effective, and you have to show cause. So before we can agree into a variation, they have to show cause. If they don't show cause, then we can just proceed along normal lines. Breach notice, eviction notice, go like that, okay? So the tenant now has to show cause, which is one of those changes that we have liked, okay? So from there, we enter into a variation, and the advice from REIQ is to do this. Don't leave it to the RTA and QCAT. Okay, negotiate so you can keep some control. If you offload it to a third party, being the RTA, and if you can't agree there in a mandatory conciliation, you go to QCAT, there's going to be long queues and a potential for it to be agreed outside your hands. Could be backdated and could be way worse than what you would have agreed in good faith with your tenant. So that's the advice that we've got, and that's best practice to enter into a variation. From there, it's either a rent deferral, meaning it needs to be paid back, or a permanent rent waiver. And we've got to record all those things to protect you in paper, and there's a form for that, okay? So that's what we'll do for any one of these variations. As per evictions, you already know that can't happen until September 30, but if anything that was previously started, that can still go ahead, okay? If the tenants refuse to show cause, that can still go ahead, okay? We can also, if you're planning to sell the property with 2 months notice, we can ask for vacant properties. And if yourself or an immediate family member wants to move back in, we can also ask with 2 months notice for the properties to be empty. So there are a couple of wins for landlords just there, okay? As for a break lease situation, the household needs to show 75% reduction in income and less than $5,000 in the bank. And let's talk about lease renewals. Lease renewals in this time, they've got automatic extension till September 30. Okay, so they can say no to us. They want to be able to leave, but we cannot say no to them in this time. Okay, and that will include the lease as it goes or any variations that you've entered into at that time. Okay, so there are a couple of things that have changed from there. Domestic violence is a much shorter period. It's just 1 week's notice, and they can leave, but that's pretty much how it was anyway. And the rest of it I'll include in my email out to you guys today, but it's important that you know that we know what's going on now. We've deciphered it. We've, as a group, looked at it all. So any questions you have going forward, we can help you with this COVID emergency response. And I think it's much more practical, much more balanced, not perfect, but we'll get there. I think with this, there should be enough stimulatory monies out there that are starting at early May and mid-May to get us through this crisis. So once again, with a spirit of cooperation, please stay safe, and if you've got any questions, don't feel any hesitation in getting in contact. Thank you. Bye for now.